Hello and welcome to episode 512 of Contending at the Water Cooler. I'm your host, Clarence Moy, and I'm joined by the other two M's. M's, let's go around the cooler and tell the listeners who you are and where they can find you on the internet. Joey, let's start with you.
Hi, I'm Joey Moser. You can find me on Twitter at JoeyMoser83.
M3GAN 1.0.
What are you talking? Yeah, I guess you're right. I am the first one. I'm Megan McLaughlin. You can find me everywhere, usually at Hey Dude Meg. And people are always surprised that I still go by that name, but I'm like, hey, dude, Meg.
Can we put it on your tombstone?
Yes. Like, are we going into dark stuff again?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. And again, I'm Clarence Moy. You can find me on Twitter at Clarence Moy. Hey guys, happy early 4th of July.
Happy early 4th of July to you too.
And happy...
Oh, you sounded just like...
Sideshow Bob.
Yes, you sounded just like him. That really freaked me out. I need you to now get a rake somewhere and run into it.
To the face over and over.
Well, as I am turning 50, the country turns 250. So there we go.
Yay! I can't believe you're turning 50.
I don't even start. I can't either. I know I just mentioned it. I know I mentioned it. No, I'll be fine with it. It's just going to take me about a week to get used to, but it's okay. It's only a number.
People like their 50s. Yeah, a lot of people like their 50s. I've liked my 40s so far. Oh, I can't believe I just admitted that I'm in my 40s. Ugh.
Well, you don't look a day over 25.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And Joey doesn't act a day over 25.
No. I don't think I acted a day over 5.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's
I don't know. You're pretty vulgar sometimes, so
Wow.
maybe 15. How about that?
Sold.
All right. So this weekend was a pretty enormous weekend in the box office, and it was supposed to be even bigger. We had F1, which was Joseph Kosinski's Formula One racing film, which stars Brad Pitt. Of course, Joseph Kosinski is the director of Top Gun Maverick, who famously did not get an Oscar nomination after getting into the DGA that year. And now he returns with F1, which was a very big crowd-pleasing event at the box office. And it was supposed to be an even bigger weekend because we had the sequel, M3GAN 2.0, which is the sequel to the 2023 sort of viral marketing phenomenon, mostly TikTok, where they actually parlayed this AI robot movie, this killer AI robot movie, into $200 million worldwide. So, of course, we've got the sequel that it was expected to open around 30. And then like 2 weeks earlier, they reduced those numbers down to 20. And then it actually opened to $10 million, and it was scrambling to get there. So in our M3GAN 2.0 review, we're going to talk about the film, what it gets right, what it doesn't get right. And we'll talk about the overall phenomenon of how do you take something like M3GAN that was so popular just 2 years ago and then bomb so spectacularly with M3GAN 2.0 in terms of the box office numbers. But before we do that, we've all seen things that the others haven't seen, so we're going to just do a very quick round robin of things like F1, The Bear Season 4, Squid Game Season 3, and other things just to catch up on kind of what we've been watching. And then, of course, we'll close with the flash forward to the media we're most anticipating in the upcoming week. All minds free and clear. You ready to go?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Round robin time. So, Joey, you saw F1. You were part of the nearly $60 million worth of theater goers to see it. So what did you think of F1?
I'm going to admit something right off the bat.
Oh, I love this already.
I like a confession.
This is just more embarrassing for me. This has nothing to do with my reaction to the movie.
Well, embarrassing.
Every time I'm fully serious about this, and this probably has never happened to me. Every time I saw the trailer, I thought Carrie Condon was Rebecca Ferguson.
Oh, people were talking about that today.
Oh, they were?
Yeah.
so stupid because I
No,
was
people were
watching
talking
it.
about that online.
I
Yeah.
saw it in IMAX. I went to an 11:30 show this morning because I had today off, and so many. I was dragging down that average age in that theater at my 15-year-old mentality mind. Yeah, just a lot of old white people in that theater. So I sort of resigned myself to think, "Oh, this movie is not for me." I'm seeing it because everyone's talking about it. I saw it in IMAX, like everyone recommended me to. I got a great seat, whatever. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think it's very entertaining. Very entertaining. I think it's like edited within an inch of its life. So I thought some of the races were really thrilling, even though I had no idea about anything with Formula One racing. And I do think it's a little too long. It's like 2 hours and 35 minutes. It drags a little in the middle. I do think it's a movie that I feel like I need to, I don't know, create a list of these movies where it's like two men are just fighting each other the whole time, and like Brad Pitt's like, "I have demons," and the younger guy, oh my God, I'm gonna say Damon. I'm looking it up right now. Damon Idris. That's Damson Idris or Damson Idris, who's very good looking. He is really charismatic. He's really cocky, and it's just sort of like this whole thing. He's like, "Hey, old man," and he was like, "You're too young, and you don't have experience." I was like, "Can you guys just make out?" Like, I think a lot of your problems will be, like, my problem will be fine if you just get the tension release out. I know that this is sort of like a quote unquote, if there's a movie in it about racing, about cars, it's automatically labeled as like a dad movie. I do think it is still a dad movie. I do think that movies about cars and, big movie stars racing, whether it's related to cars and racing or just cars in general, they're sort of labeled as dad movies. And this movie is a dad movie. But I think the editing is really great. The action is really fun. Not fun. There's no crashes. The way they put you in the car and they switch your perspective a lot is really nice. Shea Wiggum is in it for like a hot second. I was really sort of bummed that he wasn't in it more. Carrie Condon, not Rebecca Ferguson. Yeah, she's good in it too. And I just think I don't know, but there's something about it though that made me think. I was like, all right, guys, I know we're all excited for new movies. Part of me is just like, yes, it's really solid. It's solid as hell. But then when I think of some of the reactions that I saw when it first started, like screening for people, and everyone was just like, "Wah!" I was like, all right, chill out. It's a good movie, but I guess we have no desire to, I don't know, seek something out. They're waiting for something to come to them. I think I'll be a little bit more eye rolly if, as the season goes on and as we get into a festival season, in the beginning of September, that I do think every single time someone's gonna be like, well, then of course there's that one. I'm going to like Liz Lemon roll my eyes really hard every single time. Yeah. I don't know, really, and that's sort of like I can hear like a sea of 60-year-old white people be like, they don't make movies like this anymore. And I'm going to punch those people in the face. But I don't want people to think that I don't like the movie. I do. I liked it more than I thought, but I felt that running time.
How many hours was it?
It's 2 hours and 36 minutes.
Oh,
God, that feels
that's
so
a
long.
lot of racing.
Well, it's like they're going through like the racing season. So like every 20 minutes is a new race. Every half hour. Like not even that. Like they're in Vegas, they're in Abu Dhabi, they're in they trot around the world. Because I didn't know this, because I didn't know jack squat about racing. They travel around, and I guess a better, something I'd be more interested in is like, how do they get the cars everywhere? That's something that this movie did not answer.
Is it like
it's like how did it get
the Cars movie where they would put the cars inside the talking airplanes?
and I was like, are they giving
really
birth to the
upset
cars?
about yes, it really just
Are they shitting out the cars?
That's what I thought was going on in that movie, and that's what I'm wondering it's happening in F1. That's a great question that I think that both films should answer.
But I mean, like, there's parts where like Brad Pitt is like, there's one part he has like a lucky deck of cards, and every time he gets in the car, he takes a card out and puts it in his pocket, but he doesn't look at it. And it's just like one time he drives angry because he forgot his cards, and it's just like, all right, awesome. That's not the only reason. He didn't just forget his like jack of clubs or whatever, but I mean, like, it's sort of like, I don't know, it's kind of a little bit forced for me. I can see how some people would just think the whole thing from front to back, top to bottom, is really straight entertaining, but it's sort of like how when some people who talk about movies and they I rolled my eyes at this trope and about this thing that is so overdone. And I was like, I could see shit coming like a mile away, and a lot of it is really entertaining, and some of it made me roll my eyes. But yeah, I mean, I liked it a lot. I would probably see it again. It's a fun and entertaining movie. Ta-da!
Excellent, very good. Now someone else is going to talk for a little bit.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Well, I watched the Nobu documentary by I think it's Matt Tyrnauer, who directed the documentary that I just saw, James Carville. He directed Carville Winning is Everything. And Nobu is really interesting because, the restaurant chain that is like, the height of celebrity. It's kind of the history of Nobu, the chef, and how Nobu became Nobu. And I didn't realize that like Robert De Niro is his partner and kind of like helped expand the franchise. And it's really interesting because there's this push and pull between like this idea of being this chef that, cares about food and small time. Like he started out in this little joint in LA. And then now he's like all over the world in 55 locations globally, and everybody's trying to replicate him, but you can't replicate him because he's one person. So he travels around the world, trying to teach these chefs. There's this one scene that's really crazy where this one chef is trying to trying to make him happy, and he keeps bringing the same dish out over and over again. And he's just like, no, that's not it. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. And it was really just fascinating how like, can you really ever have a franchise when it's based on a person? Because you can't replicate a person. M3GAN might try to argue. We might talk about that a little bit later.
Talk about that later.
Yeah, but it's a really good doc. It was really interesting. I didn't know. I kind of wished it would have kind of delved into that push and pull a little bit more, even like the idea of celebrity and how, like, if you listen to the Dumois podcast, they're always talking about people being spotted at Nobu because it's got this air about it. But it was good. It was really fascinating, and highly recommend it.
Excellent. Very good. Anything else you watched that we did not?
I was watching Fatal Destination on Max ID, which Jessica Biel narrates. And it's also pretty good, where it's about people who experience crimes on vacations or murder on vacations, basically. And Jessica Biel narrates. So I was watching that, Jessica Biel, and I was enjoying it. As much as you can enjoy those stories, they're just kind of fascinating. And then I also started watching Toxic, about toxic relationships, and it's Elizabeth Chambers hosts that, and she was married to Armie Hammer, which was so there's that, the Armie Hammer of it all. I quit watching it though because they started getting into the Netflix show, or like the Netflix story, Bad Vegan. Remember that documentary from a few years ago, which I did like. About the guy who like basically ruined the life of that chef and everything. And they're like searching for this guy because he's out in the world now, and it spends the whole episode just searching for him. And I'm like, I don't want to find him. Like, I know he's probably doing illegal things or just manipulating people, but I don't know. I was kind of like, I don't want to rehash this story again because I just think I mean, maybe I should keep watching, but it's interesting too. So that's pretty much what I've been watching.
When you said that you watched Fatal Destination narrated by Jessica Biel, I was like,
Yes.
I didn't know Jessica Biel narrated Final Destination Bloodlines.
No.
Oh, that would have ruined it. Oh my God, I would have been so upset.
She's actually a good narrator. She's a good narrator. I like her Fatal Destination stuff.
I did watch the clip that went around from Final Destination of the opening. Then the Space Needle or whatever it was. At the
beginning.
I didn't watch that yet.
Oh,
is it like the whole sequence?
Yeah, pretty much. It's bonkers. Like I couldn't watch that. That's too much anxiety because that's like all of my worst fears caked up into 2.5 minutes of film.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Well, very quickly, I binged both. My wife was out of town, so I was able to binge both Bear season 4 and Squid Game season 3. I don't understand the reviews of the Bear season 4. Certainly,
they're kind of negative, right?
They're not great.
Really?
They're mildly positive, right? But I don't know. I really didn't like the way that FX dropped it. They didn't release screeners, and then all of the critics that wanted to review it had to binge it immediately and then post a review by like midnight the night that it came out. And I think that's just no one can sit there and just absorbs all of that so quickly and then bang out a review. I mean, I just think that did not do them any service. Do them any favors, rather. But as much I did like season 3 quite a bit, but it's a tough sit. It's a very, very tough sit. It's very yelly, screamy, just bad things happening all around. This season is a repairing of people's relationships. It is a rebuilding of people's relationships. It is a much calmer season. It is a season about healing. And I mean, I really like these characters. And I like the writing. And I found every episode to be, I'm not going to be in one of these and go, chef's kiss, cinema, and all that stuff. But I really loved it.
I would kill you.
Yeah. There were moments where it moved me to tears. It's just, there's a lot of people, there are people that, these characters were always characters in pain. And they are coming to terms with that in this season. And I think it's just such a strong piece of work. The only thing that I will say about it, and it's not even a nit or a negative comment, it's just this season underscores more so than ever before that this is not a comedy.
Oh.
There's very little that's actively funny. There are, like when you get to the end, there's 2 episodes, one which a character has like 15 or 20 minutes of dialogue about how they have failed their entire family and they're so sorry, and the person delivers it crying, and it's not funny. It's just not. And
it's hilarious.
Yeah. And there's very little in it that is, and like even a dark comedy, even, it's just not a comedy in my opinion. But I thought I enjoyed it very much, and I highly recommend people get to it. I think it's really good that you can, like, if you guys haven't seen season 3, you can, if you want to continue watching the show, you should watch them back to back, because I think season 4 kind of makes season 3 feel less like oppressive with all of its anger and angst.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because I realized that I started season 3, but then I never finished it. And so I started it again like a couple of hours ago, and I do think it's such a well-made show. It's so well acted.
Yeah.
And it's like the first episode of the 3rd season is just Jeremy Allen White like repenting for what he did at the end of season 2. and it's just so like, and then I started the second episode, like all he's doing is like cleaning the floor and flashing back to when Olivia Colman was like strict with him and whatever. And then the second episode, like him and Yvonne Moss-Bacharach start fighting, and I was like, can't do it. Nope. I will come back to it, but it was just sort of like I had a hard time, getting into it.
Is that Doors? That second episode, is that the one that's called Doors?
I think so. Let's check.
I think it's that one gave me anxiety watching it, and to the point where I was like, I didn't want my wife watching it because she already, she watches one episode and she's like, I need a Xanax. No, Next is the second episode.
Oh yeah.
Episode 3 is Doors and of season 3. And that's the one that gave me massive anxiety. It is nonstop. It's like their first night of real service. Like the one that we saw in the end of season 2 was the family and friends night. Doors episode 3 is the first night of true service. And it's just constant, doors opening and slamming and people screaming and things going wrong. And it's everybody's yelling at each other. And it's just chaos. And I understand that that's probably what a kitchen can be like, but I don't necessarily need to see it.
My friend Zachary, who used to live here, he told me that because he's worked in a couple restaurants, and he said that it was too realistic. And he said that he couldn't watch it because it gave him like sort of PTSD of when he said it's just like, straight angry men screaming at you. And I don't like that energy. I was just like, all right. So.
One of the interesting things that I saw about season 4, and I haven't done a lot of research to see if others have had this same commentary, but there are pieces of dialogue, and I have an example here in just a second, but there are pieces of dialogue that seem to be specifically talking about the creators, the showrunners, and their relationship to season 3, where they're basically saying, like this one piece of dialogue that I actually wrote down because I thought it was like, if you could really look at it in that light, and it's Carmy, played by Jeremy Allen White, and he says, I changed the menu to challenge myself. And so many people talked about season 3 as being too artistic and too, if I were Southern, I would say highfalutin, but, just too, like the first episode is like an impressionistic flashback sequence, that doesn't really forward the plot at all. And so much of this third season and so many of the complaints said, there's just no forward momentum. It's just nothing but character development. It's nothing but character interactions, which I'm fine with because that's something I really like out of entertainment. But it was really interesting to see the characters talking about the failures that are replicated and represented in season 3. And I couldn't help but wonder, are you like surreptitiously sort of apologizing for changing the menu, quote unquote, in season 3, and then like returning season 4 to kind of what we knew and liked from season 1 and season 2. So that's why I do feel like this is a change in quality in terms of, not that I thought there was a decrease in quality season 3, but it is an embracing of what people liked from the first few seasons, the first 2 seasons rather. That's why I'm surprised that the reviews actually came in like an 83 on Rotten Tomatoes. I just don't get it. Like people saying still that there's no forward momentum in the plot, and I'm like, but what did you get out of season 1 and 2 that was like so plot driven?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know. I do recommend it. I think there are people, The Bear became a punching bag because of film Twitter, over elevating it to this like godlike status. I do think people should take a look at season 4. I think it's a special piece of entertainment.
Well, now I've got to watch it. Thanks, Clarence.
Yeah. Yeah, you make me want to watch it more. So
even though my sister texted me today, she's like, "The Bear's terrible," by the way. That's what she said.
Allie coming in with the hot takes. Queen of hot takes.
I would love to know what she disliked about it.
We'll have her on next week. I'm just kidding.
Speaking of disliked, I also finished Squid Game season 3. And There's no reason for season 2 and season 3 to exist. I'll just put it that way.
I found out about the twist, the big twist.
Well, they try a couple of different things. You talking about the baby?
No, I was talking about the person who appears at the end.
Yeah, I was super pissed about that. It was like 12 o'clock Friday afternoon when it premiered at 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern, 12 o'clock midnight Pacific. And at not even like just 12 hours later, people are already talking about who this big special guest star. I was so pissed because it was.
How are people able to do that? I don't understand. Like,
I don't know, but ultimately it's not. It's a 30-second cameo.
Yeah.
But it has all kinds of interesting implications for whether or not, like, there's been a long-standing rumor that David Fincher is going to do Squid Game America. And he's supposed to start filming it in December. But they have not, Netflix hasn't announced it yet. They have not, officially sort of said this is actually going to happen. But given that special cameo, I have to wonder if...
Can I ask? Because I don't know. I didn't hear anything about it. Or do we not want to spoil it?
I'll text it to you.
Yeah, okay, why don't you text it? Because I don't want to just for other people to go through the same issues that I did. But this is an Oscar-winning actor who has worked with Fincher in the past.
And I was going to say, actually, sorry, David Fincher.
What?
I just texted Joey. That's the what. I think that Mr. Beast actually beat him to it by creating an American with Beast Games. Like, sorry, but that is the closest thing that we have to an American. I mean, it's filled with greed. It's 1,000
greed.
Real greed. 1,000 people. Do they die? We don't think so.
They fall through the floor, never to be seen again.
Yeah, they do fall through the floor, never to be seen again.
They fall into a giant sluicer.
It's a nightmare. That show is a nightmare, and I don't say that as like a criticism. I mean, it was entertaining, but it's also like, wow, the depths that people will go to win money. I do want to say very quickly about that show that Joey and I agreed that we would be out of that. Like in the first episode, they offer you $200,000 to like just quit right then and there. And Joey and I were like, we'd be out.
I would screw over strangers. It's a game.
I would be out immediately. I'd take the $200,000 and run. But anyway, that Beast Games is completely Squid Game. David Fincher has been beaten by Mr. Beast.
I'm so sorry, but if David Fincher is directing Squid Game, if Netflix is throwing money at him for that and distracting him from Mindhunter movies, I will fucking kill somebody.
Well, he's supposed to start filming the spinoff of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, featured focusing on Cliff Booth. And what I read was he was filming that now through December, and that in December he would start Squid Game America. I don't know. We'll see. But things I didn't like about Squid Game season 3. Don't care anything about the characters. Anybody that I did care about, they killed off in season 2. It takes, and I don't know. I don't watch a lot of Korean television, so I don't know if the weird twists and turns that they take are more traditional with that culture and their entertainment. But there's a big twist that happens where a character who is pregnant, who enters the Squid Games pregnant, apparently 8 to 9 months pregnant, has the baby in season 3. And this is a mild spoiler. So if you're going to watch Squid Game season 3, then by all means, jump ahead 30 seconds. But they bring back, you both saw season 1, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They bring back the VIPs, the horribly acted, people that come in masks and watch the Squid Game. They bring them back. The girl has the baby, and the VIPs demand that the baby be counted as a Squid Game contestant.
My God.
And it was at that point that I was like, okay, well, I know how this is going to end, because they're not going to do something that,
Oh my God.
So as soon as that happened, I was like, okay, so I see this ending coming a mile away. So
Did they kill a baby?
Spoiler alert, they do not kill a baby.
Okay.
I will text you what happens because I do
Okay.
not recommend that people watch this. It doesn't even have as interesting of set pieces as season 2 did. Like season 2 stuck in my mind because it has this one really great carousel sequence. And they're just season 3 just feels very redundant in even, and it just becomes this exercise of how quickly are all these people going to die? Because got time left.
Oh my
It's not
God.
good. It's not good.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, anything else that people would like to talk about?
No, not in that end, I guess.
All right. Well, the heart of our podcast is talking about M3GAN, the M3GAN phenomenon. So let's journey back to late 2002 to early 2003, and remember M3GAN? Remember TikTok dances? How M3GAN did, like, there was a whole sequence within the film where she was doing TikTok dances before she grabbed the paper cutter and slashed somebody's throat open. That was fun, right? That was people.
Right.
That's what drove the box office. Like, that's I'm not off base on that, right?
No, you're not off base at all.
Nope.
I think everybody was so excited for that trailer, and it was so bizarre and scary and creepy and fun and campy, which none of those things in this one.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it was camp that, I mean, everybody making that knew that there was a wink in that, because it's about an artificial intelligence doll who just becomes homicidal due to faulty programming or whatever. But there was a wink and a nudge to it that, oh my God, this is fun, this is campy horror, right? You're having a good time, and that, I mean, I think that's why it grossed $200 million. I think in my opinion, I'd love to hear what you guys think, but my opinion, by making a sequel to something that was maybe not purposely campy, but became campy, and then designing a sequel to be campy is already a failure.
Yes. Yeah. I also wonder, do you think our attention spans are too short, and that, like, I mean, granted, it was only in 2023. I think it's like maybe January that it came out.
Yeah.
Is that when the first one came out?
That's right. Yep.
Like
2.5 years.
So it's been a year and a half. Well, I guess 2.5 years. Yeah, that's crazy to think about. Yeah. Okay. 2.5 years. Like, did it come too late? I guess. I don't know. But I also think I agree with everything you just said. I think there. Well, can we get into the problems with the film? I guess. Can I?
Yeah. Why don't you talk about what M3GAN 2.0 is about? Because the first one was a comic horror film.
Yes.
They changed the tone in M3GAN 2.0. So tell us what this is about.
Okay, and this will be for Marie. Marie, hi, Mom. The first M3GAN was about Allison Williams is this, like, genius inventor who invents. She also is raising her niece, whose parents died in a car accident, I think. And so she's this inventor who invents this AI doll that is supposed to be, like, protect Katie, and the doll ends up really protecting Katie and, like, killing everybody around her. Okay, that's the plot. And the second one, M3GAN is defeated in the first one, but her AI exists and lives on into other things, I guess. And I'm actually not clear really on what the plot is of the second one. It's where it gets so convoluted where
the government
has parts of it, that part of her
code.
Like, code so they're using M3GAN as a weapon, but then they aren't using M3GAN as a weapon, that we find out. I mean, not that that's a twist that for anybody who wants to see it, but they bring M3GAN back it's almost like Silence of the Lambs at one point, because they bring M3GAN back to defeat the other M3GAN, like the worst
Amelia.
Yeah, Amelia. And so, because I was like, okay, I see what they're doing. Silence of the Lambs, got it. And then like with Christian, the guy that like Allison Williams is kind of like banging, but maybe not banging. I'm not quite sure, other than they eat charcuterie boards and drink wine together, but he doesn't live there. So he is involved in this. I don't know. I was with it to a point, and then I was like, I have no idea what's going on. They're trying to get into this Xerox building or Xenox building that at the bottom level has like it stores like dead code or something, and they're trying to put it there to destroy it. I was like, it was almost like I feel like this film was too smart, way too smart. It was doing interesting things, but that is not what I showed up for. I showed up for her dancing. I showed up for her killing people, which she really doesn't. Other than killing, like she fights the AI a lot. It's just I also felt like this movie needed like a new actor, like a cheesy actor, like a campy, like it needed like not that she's not campy, but like a Sarah Michelle Gellar or somebody to show up to like make it. She's not campy, but it needs like it needs like something interesting, like a new person, not Christian. And there was no Ronnie Chang. There was no the first one was so much more interesting to me. Well, like not interesting. It was more palpable and like I understood it. And the funny thing is this is the same team of like Akilah Cooper who wrote it, which I think she's really smart. And I mean, the stuff was really smart in it. And like Gerard Johnstone directed it again. But I just don't. I mean, they really tried to make it. I feel like it was serious and less campy and not fun. One more thing. There's a line in it where Megan says something like, somebody says something. I think the one robot said, Amelia says something to her. She's like, I'm still going to take you to school. And I listened to her say that. And I'm like, what does she mean? Oh, right. That was a joke. And I'm like, so the robotic delivery like did not work, even though it's a robot. I was just kind of like, oh, I had to like think about it for a second. But I was disappointed in Megan 2.0. As you can see.
I'm going to steal something from Joey. So sorry, Joey. But I did not ask for a sequel to a movie about a killer AI robot, but that's okay. But I certainly didn't ask for a sequel that was solely focused on both artificial intelligence and the like growth, personal growth and emotional growth. And, just this like gobs and gobs and gobs. This is a movie about a killer dancing robot. And now all of a sudden we've got her singing woman's work.
Oh, I did love that scene. I was like,
I hated that.
But I also feel like they were cramming those scenes in because they're like, this is getting too serious. We've got to lighten it up a bit.
Yeah, it feels like a movie that was made. You remember those refrigerator magnets from the 2000s?
Yeah.
That's where you could like the poetry
power.
Magnets.
Yes.
It was like
God.
That's what this script feels like it was assembled by. And by the way,
man,
it's truly terrible movie where I don't know why Jermaine Clement is in this film, because he is trying to give a weird comic performance. Because at one point he plays a guy in this elaborate. He's like Elon Musk if Elon Musk were using technology to walk, because I guess the guy had some sort of spine injury and he couldn't walk. But he's in one scene, he's going around a lab and he keeps running into stuff as if he's like some crazy, wacky, handy capable person. But then it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And the guy that ultimately is, and I'm sorry, spoiler alert, but don't go see this movie. The guy that is the ultimate villain is this Christian guy, and he is
Christian,
sorry. He is dead weight on screen. He has zero screen chemistry.
Well, I think we're supposed to hate him from the beginning, because I think because I was like, I hate that you say Christian. But yeah, he was kind of like that. I kind of wondered why they didn't have cast somebody like a Sarah Michelle Gellar in that role.
Well, apparently he was on Saturday Night Live for a year.
Christian?
Yes, Christian.
What?
Yes.
What? I'm shocked.
I'm appalled.
Yeah. But like none of this is funny. The trailer that they came out with, God bless the marketing department, but they trying to take this film and to make this into, oh, remember that thing that you liked on TikTok with the dancing robot? She dances like one time, but she dances doing the robot, which
Yes.
it's a robot doing the thing about the first one was that it was a robot doing TikTok dances and looking human in the process.
Right.
This is a robot doing the robot isn't funny. That doesn't hit it. And God bless them for trying to get some kind of interest by having Oops, I Did It Again. That trailer doesn't even look like it was cobbled together from this movie.
Yeah, I have to say what I said online, I said we need to apologize to Chapel Roan because we used Feminine Nomenon in like the teaser trailer, and then Oops, I Did It Again. And then I was like, and this is, I think it was like, do not promise me full throttle country at the end of Pride Month and then give me that. That is homophobic. But it was just like, I told Jay, okay, first of all, it's 2 hours long. That first hour, I think the second half is better than the first half, but that's not saying much.
I think the first half's better than the second half.
Oh, it's sort of like, I don't, I'm actually surprised that it took them this long to get it out, because I remember that they announced that they were doing a sequel pretty quickly after the first movie came out. Like, they made Bad Moms Christmas come out faster than M3GAN 2.0, and that's saying something.
And that's a better film.
It is a better film.
Yeah.
I would, it's not, I don't, okay, sure, you make a movie 2 years ago about AI, and you know, AI has had a lot of you know, moments in the news. People are talking about how artists are, you know, getting the shaft because of AI artwork, all this stuff. I don't care about that through the lens of M3GAN 2.0. I don't care. Like I care about that generally because of the AI is dangerous and blah blah. This is not what I signed up for. Like, it's so serious. And like the moment that you were talking about M3GAN, with like her singing, or Clarence, I'm sorry, I can't remember. You said when she sings "Woman's World," like leading up to it.
Woman's Work.
Okay, "Woman's Work." Is that the Katy Perry song?
No.
What song is that?
Oh, it's like, who is it?
Oh God, that song! I didn't even recognize the song.
Is it Kate Bush? This Woman's Work.
Yes, Kate Bush.
Yes. Yeah. It's like,
but it's just like, I don't. It's just like, I actually thought when that scene was happening, like the dialogue that was like, you know, you're a mom and I see what you do as a mom. And then there was like, but get it, it's a joke. She's going to sing this song. I was like, this is so forced. And it was so, maybe you can't, you know, capture lightning in a bottle twice. And there are a couple of things, like the only thing that I actually think was entirely entertaining in that movie was Allison Williams' reaction to her singing, where she's like, what the fuck? This is so stupid.
That's so tonally all over the place that sarcastic reaction to that moment is not carried anywhere else in the film. Like, I wish that they had that level of humor.
Yeah, she treats her so seriously. Like,
yes,
even she runs, you know, spoiler alert, she runs back to like save her, and it's like, it would have been funny if she's like, I gotta go save this bitch,
right?
Really?
Yeah, and
something like, it could have been so funny.
And then it you know, the code that you're talking about that's buried in the vault, miles below the Xenox building, is this prototype of AI that they have locked away because it's so terrible and shocking and horrible. But it was built in 1981, so it's been sitting in that basement for 45 years. And they said now it's thinking and it's replicating, and now it's like God tier AI, and you know, we can't even contain it. And so, you know, spoiler alert again, but don't go see this movie. Amelia naturally touches the chip and absorbs the godlike powers. What in her programming allowed her eyes to turn completely white and emit light?
Yeah. These are
Storm
all
from
good
X-Men.
questions. Yes.
It's just, she reminded me of, you two have probably never seen this, but the original Christopher Reeve Superman movies. In the end of Superman 3, you've seen Superman 3 where the woman walks into the computer and ends up becoming the computer. That's what that reminds me of. The one with Richard Pryor. It's so bad. It's so. There was another thing I was going to say too. And this had been compared to, what made me really actually want to go see it was that it had been compared to Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Yeah. I was excited about that.
Yes.
I wish it had an ounce of that energy in this film. Because, I mean, if they had just said, okay, now we're going to make T2, because Terminator, the original film, was kind of a sci-fi horror film. More on the sci-fi side, but it had some scary moments. And then they shifted to full-on action spectacle, James Cameron action spectacle. I wish they had done that here, where Amelia wanted to hunt down the niece, Katie.
Yeah.
And M3GAN had to protect her. Like, that would have been so much more simple, straightforward, streamlined, instead of all of this AI gobbledygook that they think they're being sharp and resonant with the modern day culture. It just, none of it works.
But also, it's so concerned with trying to be like, this is somebody who would not be able to write a screenplay about AI, obviously. But it's just like, it's so concerned with it being like cutting edge and topical that in 6 months this is going to look so dated. And I totally agree. I kind of wish it was almost like, and not to like tell people how to write movies, but I mean, like, I kind of wish it wasn't M3GAN 2.0. I wish it was sort of like a spin-off called Amelia. Sure, make the E in Amelia like the E in M3GAN. Fine, do that. And then maybe like halfway through the movie, you find out that, you know, M3GAN is in it. And like you said, Clarence, you know, make her try to track down the family. And then you can have like a big camp fest. Do that. I would even be fine if because Americans and humanity as a whole is stupid enough that they didn't care that M3GAN killed people and everybody bought a M3GAN and everyone had an assassin M3GAN in their house and they were trying to kill people, and then like all the M3GANs went berserk and there would be a million dancing M3GANs walking down the streets of suburbia and then somebody else had to stop them. That would have been better too.
I mean, there's 1,000 different ways you could take this. You certainly didn't need Jermaine Clement playing, you know, Elon Musk all over again. Like yeah, I don't know. Take it down the Child's Play route. They managed to make 5 or 6 movies of this stuff. Like, come on,
a beloved TV series, sure.
And why did we have to sit through and endure a homicidal M3GAN, who is, you know, a converted homicidal presence who now has grown? You know, she even has a line of dialogue in there where she says, you know, oh, you kill people. Oh, well, I was a child then. Well,
yeah.
I don't know. It just really doesn't make any sense. I think we're spending about 20 minutes too long talking about this terrible movie.
Just bad. I agree. I was really bummed.
I was really disappointed.
And what's so interesting?
Fun.
Yeah, I wanted it to be fun too, and that's the number one thing that it was not. What's so interesting though is how did people get the whiff, the odor coming off of this film so that they're not going to see it? Because, you know, we have so many cases where people generally don't pay attention to reviews, right?
Yeah.
Something about this, as you know, people tapped into the M3GAN culture in the end of 2022, where they you know, made the original M3GAN a huge hit. They similarly tapped into this is not good, this is not cool, this is trying too hard. You know, it's a try hard film.
Well, the trailer wasn't very good. I thought that too. As soon as I saw the trailer, I'm like, oh, this is trying too hard. I had low expectations going into it, but I thought it would at least be campy. Like I thought it would at least be silly and dumb. I didn't expect it to be trying so hard to be smart. And even like I did write down like that this movie does more for girls in STEM than our current administration. At least that it has that going for it. Because I did like appreciate that it's like Katie likes to do code and you know her aunt is like in science. So I do love that aspect of it. But I do think that people could I think you're absolutely right. I think people saw the trailer and were like, this looks dumb with the femininomenon and the oops, I did it again. It just was not, it's almost like you're too late to the party type of thing. It felt, it had that kind of, that's a good call though. I think that that's what happened.
Anytime you try to program a super fun action camp fest, it never works.
Right.
That has to happen organically.
Yeah. Just let camp happen.
Yep.
Yeah. It was so, because the first one came out in what? In January.
Yep.
On January 6th. And also, I think the time of year is, I understand they probably want to have it come out in the summer because it's, big summer, but they should have just put it out in January.
Yeah.
They really should have. Or they should have sorry, the gays are doing other stuff. It's Pride Month. Last weekend of Pride. New York Pride. Kevin told me, he was like, Kevin told me, he was just like, yep, the gays are busy doing Pride. They're not going to go see a movie that they heard is really bad. And I was like, I kind of agree. So, I mean, I don't know. I just think, I think it's, I remember when the trailer came out, when the first teaser came out, I was like, all right, yes, this is going to be, I can't believe that, I don't know. I literally said, I was like, yep, that's cunty. And then, I was like, can't wait. And then I was like, I don't care.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. Just like, whatever.
All right. So does that cover it? Or we should move on to the flash forward?
Sure.
All
right. Megan, why don't you become Megan 3.0 and
I do want to say I'm having an existential crisis during this conversation because we keep talking about Megan's over. No one cares about Megan. But no, so MST3K is having a marathon this week of all Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's on, I think Pluto is doing something. I found it on my TV. They say if they're starting a channel if you go to getmst3k.com, you can ask your cable company, if you have cable, to get the station, or I think they have other means that I haven't gone there yet, but I love watching it. So I've been like, I can't not have it on. I also, now that I've learned that 2 dinosaurs make out in the new Jurassic World, I feel like I need to see it, which I'm upset about, but yet at the same time, I'm intrigued. I'm listening to I Quit by Haim. I always say their name wrong. I want to watch the Trainwreck Poop Cruise documentary, and I heard Department Q on Netflix is also really good. And I want to plug Female Gaze Film Club podcast. I just started listening to that today, and my friend Morgan Roberts hosts it, and I listened to the episode about Wayne's World, which was really good because she's only covering like films who are directed by females and directed by women, and so really had fun listening to that. So I wanted to plug that, and then I'm reading Sky Daddy by Kate Folk, which is this book about a woman who is obsessed with planes and wants to have a romantic relationship with a plane. It's like the opposite of Joey. And it's pretty cool so far. So I'm really enjoying that. That's it.
Very good. Joey?
Right. I'm still reading The Guncle by Stephen Rowley. I'm almost done with it. And then I'm really excited to start reading Jeff Hiller's book.
Yes.
Actress of a Certain Age, My 20-Year Trail to Overnight Success. The cover of the book is really funny, so that alone sold. Even if it wasn't him, I would be sold on it. I am seeing The Phoenician Scheme tomorrow morning, just because, I guess. I'm super excited for what's happening on Drag Race All-Stars, the new format. We're going into the merge for people know what that is, I'm excited to see what that is. They're having Snatch Game on this week's episode of Drag Race. I guess screeners for a docuseries on Amazon called One Night in Idaho, The College Murders, about the Idaho Four. And I'm even though that case scares the crap out of me, I'm more interested in it now because the person accused of the crime just pled guilty today.
Or he's going to plead guilty.
Yes, to avoid the death penalty. And then I'm going to, because the Emmy nominations don't come out until July 15th. We still have 2 weeks. Excuse me, I'm yawning. Before I can
always tell when you yawn.
I know. I try to hide it. It's never good. I'm always super interested in the music and lyrics category, and I'm going to try to listen to all 55 songs that's on the list and try to pick like my top 20 and see if I can like throw something up on the site. And then also over the weekend and last week, I was watching shorts out of the ass for Palm Springs International Shorts Fest. I only posted one review of the movie that I probably think is my favorite movie of the festival. Shocker, spoiler alert. But I'm going to be running up a bunch of that, so I'm going to be, casually watching more shorts here and there. So now that I say all this stuff, I realize that I'm busy and now I'm stressed. So someone kill me. Yeah, that's it.
All right. On my front, on TV, I'll start with TV. I need to catch up to a couple of things because hopefully our listeners of our podcast have seen on contending.com that we are currently in the midst of voting for the Cooler Awards, which is something that we started 10 years ago at Awards Daily. And we are continuing at the Cooler Award here at the Contending, excuse me. And so I need to watch a couple of things before I cast my vote. One is The Pit. I need to finish that. 2 is I need to revisit season 2 of Shrinking. And I need to try to get through some of Nobody Wants This. Hear the dubiousness in my voice, but hopefully
you don't like it.
I've never seen it. I'm not a fan of her. So
I started rewatching it, and I'm
it really holds up. Yeah.
Okay. It does.
Good. Okay. Good. Then
because I went back to it when I started like working out again. This round of working out, and I was curious about how it would hold up on a rewatch, and it holds up really well, I think.
Well, I want to get through those things before I start any additional screeners, but I do have screeners. Well, I guess we all have Netflix screeners for 2 things. Leanne, which is, I don't know when this is coming out. They're not really great about, this is probably not going to be a very good show because the episodes are 19 minutes long, but it's Leanne Morgan. It was Leanne Morgan, Kristen Johnson, and Celia Weston. Leanne Morgan was in the Reese Witherspoon and You Are Cordially Invited with Will Ferrell. She was the best thing about that. So I'm interested about that. I'm interested in watching Too Much, the new Megan
me too.
It's good.
Lena Dunham. Yeah, I want to watch that, and that comes out July 10th. So I'm got a lot of TV to watch now. Film-wise, probably not going to go to the movie theater. Although if I do, I want to see what's going on with Disney Pixar's Elio, which is I have not seen it yet. And there was an article in the Hollywood Reporter today talking about the tortured history of the production of that film and how it was originally the original version. Elio was an 11-year-old child, and I think he stayed 11, but he was supposedly you could tell that he was gay. Like he would walk along. What?
That woke.
Well, it's directed by a gay man, and he was, it was probably a personal project for him. But the kid was like, in one scene that they talk about that has been cut from the final version was that he walks along the beach and he collects little pieces of trash and he makes them into an outfit, and he calls it a trashin' show. But
I love it.
They did a sneak preview of the film in Arizona, I think it said. I don't remember, but it's in the Hollywood Reporter article. And everybody liked the film, but when they asked the question, would you pay to see this in the theater? absolutely no one in the theater raised their hands.
Wow.
So then I guess the director removed himself, and then they brought in the team, like the director who made Turning Red, and they changed it completely. And I didn't get through the entire article, but there's a really interesting article in the Hollywood Reporter. So I do want to see the film to kind of to see what's going on there, and I might try to go see F1. And I am continuing my read of A Clash of Kings, the second in the Song of Ice and Fire series.
Cool.
All right. So does that cover it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get the hell out of here. So we are the 3M's contributors, Joey Moser, Megan McLaughlin, and me, Clarence Moy, thanking you for joining us, asking you to remember to rate us on your favorite podcast app, and wishing you a very pleasant tomorrow and a very happy 4th of July.